Right. So, hi. We got Zoe Taylor here of Intrigue Media and just all-around amazing human being for I Am in a Car episode number 40.
Oh my gosh, 40.
40, big 40
So
right
exciting.
here. It's pretty awesome. Last one we did with Mr. Chris Thiessen on my birthday, and it was the day after his birthday. I mean, birthdays land close together. You know we're good people, right?
Yeah.
Chris is a good dude.
I'm seeing some symmetry.
I gotta work on my beard. So thanks for doing this. I think you're team member number 3.
Oh, awesome.
So Mike did one,
Yeah.
Pranay did one, and now Zoe's doing one.
Awesome.
So
I thought more team members have done it.
There's a couple lined up, but I'm stoked you decided you wanted to be part of it. So thank you.
No problem.
So, kind of part of this whole thing is we just do a quick little Coles Notes summary of Zoe Taylor and just kind of give the audience a little bit of context in terms of where you've come from and what you're up to.
Okay, cool. So my name is Zoe. Yeah, I'm a team member at Intrigue. I'm on the sales team, so I focus on finding awesome businesses to help with their marketing. And once we bring those businesses inward and start working with them, I manage their accounts. So I'm kind of the connection between our awesome team that we have at our office and the actual business owners or leaders within the organizations. And it's like a really awesome job. So I'm very fortunate that I went to the University of Guelph. I went for marketing appropriately, and I was one of those rare people who actually found a job in something that they went to school for.
Crazy.
In the area that they wanted to work in. It was so awesome. I was working at the Keg Steakhouse and Bar.
Great spot.
Oh, amazing.
Shout out to the Keg in Guelph.
Also really good if you want to find a job elsewhere sometimes in the future, because that's what happened to me. I served my team member Vanessa and her mom, and they asked me all about where it was going, if I was going to school, and turns out they invited me to an information night with Intrigue, and then the rest is history. So I was really fortunate there to find an awesome job in marketing and still getting to talk to people all the time.
And a huge shout out to Suzanne Hagen for making that introduction come to life. Because I'm pretty sure she got her iPad out or something like that, registered for you for the Eventbrite, at the table.
Yeah, she actually made her daughter pull out her phone and register me up for the Eventbrite with my email address. And I got an email that night, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to this thing before I even checked out Intrigue. But it was really awesome because although she was the one who forced it, I hadn't heard of Intrigue before, and I without Susan, I would have been out to lunch. I would
No
have
pun
missed.
intended.
Seriously, I would have
Eating at the
missed the
Keg.
whole opportunity. So kudos to her and the Keg.
Awesome. You've been working with us almost 2 years.
It's my Intrigue anniversary. Got a calendar invite last week. It comes up July 7th.
July
so
7th.
There you go. It's 2-3 weeks away.
That's amazing.
I'm
and it's
so
been, at
excited.
times flown by.
Oh,
It
yeah.
does not seem like you've been with us for 2 years.
It doesn't, and it's one of those things, something's good when you really can't figure out if it feels like it's been longer or too short, because it also feels like longer because we've grown so much and moved, and all these new team members are there, and the team's almost twice the size.
Yeah, it's
so
changed quite a bit.
it feels like longer, but it feels, very short at the same time.
Cool. So, for today, in light of all this talk about millennials, I figured we would maybe take a little journey down the road of what it's been like working at Intrigue for the last 2 years, and just to kind of get an idea of, what did you expect before you came into the organization, and did it match, meet, exceed, flop on those expectations? And over the last 2 years, where would you say your time has impacted your life the most when inside the organization?
Cool. So prior to starting at Intrigue, I'd been around or interviewed with various types of marketing companies. So marketing can take many forms, and I was really excited going into Intrigue that we really worked on actual businesses, and then came up with strategies to help them market their businesses. It was just something that was so concrete and tangible, and something I wished I could have done even before graduating, and so I was really excited about it, but I was also a little bit nervous, how I kind of felt like university didn't prepare me for that. Right. So I was really excited to learn a lot and nervous that I was going to be challenged, which I was. So it was great. It worked out. No regrets whatsoever there. I think Intrigue exceeded my expectations in terms of personal growth. I expected all of the professional growth that came along with me learning and figuring out like what real marketing was in the real world and not just from a textbook.
Right.
So I guess what actually ended up happening is, yes, I learned all these great things, and don't get me wrong, I learned so much when it comes to marketing and how to market a business and sales and how to talk to clients and all that fun stuff. But what I really wasn't expecting was all the personal growth that came with this organization, because time and time again, you know, when you talk with your friends and your colleagues that you went to school with and that are working at, you know, fast-paced young organizations that are also maybe not marketing companies, but like tech startups and things like that, they don't have that component that we do, where we're working on our leadership skills, not just our like company growing. We really take the approach, and I'm speaking for him, but we take the approach where we grow each other and we grow as individuals so that we can grow as a team. Because you're only as strong as your weakest link at the end of the day. And I think that was something that until working at Intrigue, I couldn't really see come to life. And now it's just like, I mean, our company speaks for itself and our success over the last couple of years, but it really is all about investing in your people, and it'll just pay you back tenfold, right? So I was not expecting that, and I was certainly not expecting all the lovey-dovey stuff to make sense. I won't lie to you. At first I was like, I don't really know if I can like share all this, but I opened up really quickly, and I'm definitely one of the softer team members. So sharing and growing myself personally has been something I was not expecting, and something that was such a great surprise that by far exceeded my expectations.
Cool. So let's just go a little further then. Okay. In terms of your own personal growth, where has that come to life over the last year or two? So when you're talking to people about that, what is it that you're referring to?
Yeah, so I think for me, unfortunately, like many people, you know, when you're going through various life stages, you can tend to get attached to people that maybe, you know, you were friends with when you were in your teenage years, or you were friends with in university, or just friends with for various reasons. And sometimes it's unfortunate, but you have to do kind of like a mathematical calculation and like figure out if someone is adding as much value into your life as you're adding into their life. So that was that actually came from a book I read, and I actually did the math and came to a really easy conclusion that there were some people in my life that were subtracting and not adding anything to, and were drawing a lot of energy out of me rather than adding energy to me. So I think I made that change, I would say about a year and a half ago. So it was shortly after working at Intrigue, and ever since, like, my life has been just so incredible. There's, you know, my mom got diagnosed with cancer last year, and I am surrounded by not only awesome team members, but awesome friends that were just like the first ones to show up and to call and to make sure you're okay, ask you all the time. Like, just really, really considerate people are in my life now, and I have Intrigue to thank for that. So it's amazing the power of surrounding yourself with the right people.
And so then, I mean, that's like the law of the inner circle and the law of addition, and I guess that a lot of that stuff's from 21
Irrefutable Laws, yeah.
Of Leadership.
Awesome book.
John C. Maxwell. You know, and I think it's when I read it, and I know a lot of people, other people in our organization, like everybody's read it essentially in our company, just depending on when they started, but most people have. I think the kicker though is a lot of people identify who's bringing value to their life and who isn't, but not a lot of people do anything about it. And I think that's one of the biggest testaments, Zoe, you bring to the table every day, is that you know what's got to be done, and then you go fucking do it.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people do that. So I think that's just a testament to your character, and I think it's really just a little kind of microcosm of what Intrigue is really about, because we're just an environment as a company, as a whole. We're an environment, to give people like you an opportunity to come learn and grow and then pull the trigger. But it doesn't come to life unless the people inside are pulling the triggers for their own life, right? So I think that's just a huge shout out to you.
Yeah, awesome.
So then let's go tactical role for a moment. You're in sales.
Yeah.
Everybody loves salespeople. They're liars, they're pushy, they're aggressive, they're sleazy. There's all these, crazy negative connotations with the idea of salesperson. But then you meet someone like you, and I don't connotate any of that stuff. So how did you deal with that stigma? And then I'll ask you another question about maybe a tip for future salespeople.
Cool. So I guess I dealt with that stigma because I saw how what we do every day helps people with what they want to do. So what I mean by that is we're helping market businesses. Yes, that's great. Make them more money, all that fun stuff. But for some business owners, this can have a huge life impact. If we're increasing their sales by the amount that it requires to hire someone to do some of their more admin tasks that take up 40 hours a week in their 80-hour crazy entrepreneurial work week, we're giving them their life back. Their kids and their wife or husband are insanely happy with us and insanely happy with, right? We have an actual purpose, and we can see the awesome work that we do impact people's lives. And no, we're not a hospital. I'm not saving anybody's life, but I think we're helping people see what opportunities exist out there. And for some business owners prior to working with us, maybe they didn't have that person or other business in their life where they could see that this was possible.
Yeah.
And we help make that possible for people. So what that means for me as a salesperson is that when you know that you're selling something that you honestly believe in, and you have a purpose every single day when you're picking up the phone or going to sales meetings, whatever type of sales that you're doing, then it's a lot more powerful. If someone isn't a fit to work with us, I don't take it personally. It's not my fault. Their marketing's already good. That's fine by me. I think I realized, I would say it probably took me 6 to 8 months after starting in my role that, we help a lot of awesome people, and I'm doing this for a reason. And it's also a numbers game. You just gotta, every single no that you get is there's just a yes around the corner. So once you realize that you just have to keep going and not take it personally, you're fine. And plus there's a million sales books out there that help you with various motivational points.
No doubt. So what is it about our sales process that kind of keeps you going and helps combat that stigma of the traditional salesperson?
Yeah, that's an awesome point. So I'd done sales for other organizations before, and not that I was selling anything that was illegal or terrible or bad for anyone's health. But sometimes organizations will do everything to get the sale, and they don't have the client or the customer in mind, and that didn't work for me. That I could never do that, and it might have, it definitely did impact my numbers, but it only impacted my numbers when it was not a qualified person to sell to. So I never felt bad about it, and I just knew that if I were to ever do sales again after that point, it had to be something that I believed in and that wasn't all about the numbers. So Intrigue, when I started at Intrigue, I knew right away it wasn't all about the numbers. The only numbers that mattered were me putting in an effort to cold call and build relationships and get out there and do things like that were within my control, and not focus on the things that are out of your control. You can't, hypnotize someone into saying yes at the end of the day. You just have to focus on the little things that you can control and keep going. And eventually, you're going to get a yes. I mean, unless your product's terrible, then maybe you should review it. But that is a fair point.
That is totally a fair point. I think it really comes down to that BAT, right? With the right behavior and the right attitude, using the right technique, results will come as long as we focus on the behavior, the attitude, and the technique, and not the result.
Exactly.
Because the result is not in our control. The behavior, the attitude, and the technique is in our control. So if you were to talk to aspiring entrepreneurs, aspiring sales professionals, what's kind of one tip that you could, if you wish you could go tell yourself 5 years ago or even 2 years ago when you started, that you've learned that just has made a world of difference in your ability to be a successful sales professional?
I'm going to do 2.
Okay, go
So read books, figure out the best books that are out there and read them, because there's so much information out there and these people really know what they're talking about.
Example?
To Sell is Human is awesome. If you're a salesperson, oh my goodness. And he is, he's just a 10 out of 10. He's such a cool guy. And his whole book is all about how we all have that inner salesperson, and there's so many roles in our everyday life that require sales. So it makes it less stuffy and like, this is your job. It's more so you're just moving something. It's all about the idea of moving something. So
cool.
Anyway, To Sell is Human, and get a mentor. Get someone who's done sales, who's been there, who's done that, and then they can, odds are, share like really negative sales experiences and make you feel better about yours. So you always need a mentor or someone who's been in that position, and they can offer you so much advice, and you're going to learn so much faster if you learn from someone else's mistakes.
Very cool. So what I got is, it's a lot easier to go do whatever you're doing when you have purpose behind it.
Yeah.
The idea of personal growth as a mechanism for organizational growth seems like, now that you've experienced it, it's important.
Yep.
And when it comes to sales, study, because you don't want to be practicing in front of your prospects. You might as well learn from the people that have fallen before you and find a mentor.
Exactly.
Love it. Well, thanks for doing this, Zoe.
Thanks for having me.
All right, see you guys. Bye. Thanks.